All right, a very good evening. You're watching India Today go live on social media platforms with me, Nabila Jamal. I'm going to take you through the roundup of today's news. So, what's hit the headlines today is the new coronavirus strain that's been found in the United Kingdom. And this has, of course, sent the entire world in a frenzy. People are very curious to know what this coronavirus strain is all about and if it is fatal as the present strain. Now, United Kingdom scientists and doctors have found that this strain is supposed to be so far, as per samples collected, 70% more infectious. But it isn't as deadly as the current strain. So that's a relief. Nonetheless, it's spreading quite fast, rapidly. In fact, the UK says that it's spreading at an uncontrollable speed. That's precisely what the United Kingdom has said. And owing to this, the United Kingdom has now implemented restrictions and a lockdown in place across of London. Four-tier cities have been asked to have low-key celebrations of Christmas. So this is quite a party pooper, if I could call it, for those who are wanting to celebrate Christmas. The entire country there, United Kingdom, has usually very pompous celebrations for Christmas, but this time it's going to be a dampener, is what it appears. Now, this of course has sent a lot of shockwaves through the globe. In fact, the WHO India representative, he's also asked India to be cautious. India has now decided that they are going to suspend flights from United Kingdom to India to and from temporarily until the 31st of December to sort of control the influx of people coming in from the United Kingdom, only to ensure that the COVID-19 strain, the new strain in United Kingdom, does not spread to India. Now, this is a decision that India has taken, but in the meanwhile, the Health Ministry in India has certainly said that there's nothing to panic. This is, of course, a reason to worry, but not to panic. They are, as per the reports, the Health Ministry in India has said that this is just out of it's an imaginary worry that you have. Do not have that worry because it's just been detected. There's still a lot of study that says that it's not as fatal, so don't panic as yet. This is what the Health Ministry says, while at the same time they say that they're closely monitoring the situation, and if at all an alert has to be sounded, then it will be sounded soon enough. But UK has gone under lockdown. Several countries, including Canada, France, Netherlands, you have Belgium, Austria, who've banned UK flights to and from. In fact, they're restricting people from the United Kingdom coming into their countries, or their own people going into UK, because this is a situation which Boris Johnson is handling. He's also issued a statement saying due to this new coronavirus strain, this time's Christmas celebrations will have to be different. People will have to stay indoors, they'll have to maintain social distancing, and all those norms again fall in place. Many questions about this virus strain, whether the new vaccines like the Pfizer, Moderna that have been rolled out, are they going to be effective on this new virus strain? And that's something that is still under study. In fact, experts in the UK say that this virus is vulnerable to the vaccine, but no proven, there's no confirmation, there's nothing proven as yet that this vaccine can't defeat that strain of the virus as yet. So on both hands, the information is quite confusing, if I could say, because on one hand they say the virus is vulnerable to the vaccines, on the other hand they say that the vaccine is effective enough to counter this strain as well. But to what extent still needs to be established. So on both hands, at the end of it, we've got to be safe. So stay, maintain your COVID protocols, your hygiene, your distance, and all of that, and avoid travel as much as you can, because the highest risk to contract the virus is through travel, and that's what studies have shown so far over the last year. So many nations, like I said, France, Germany, etc., have already stopped Britishers coming in. Of course, those who are from the UK, anybody traveling to the UK as well, have been warned heavily against this new COVID strain. Now, apart from that, COVID-19, in fact, COVID-19 vaccine in India, while it's already rolled out in the UK and the United States, India now is all set to launch the COVID vaccine at least in January, is what the Health Minister Harsh Vardhan says, that by early January, possibly that India could have its vaccine. And several people, including the frontline healthcare workers, will be vaccinated on the first round. In fact, he says at least 1 crore healthcare workers of government and private hospitals will be vaccinated in the first round. In the second phase, 2 crore frontline workers, including police, armed forces, home guards, civil defense personnel, will be vaccinated. Third round, 3.27 crore people from 50 years and above the age group, and those with comorbidities will be vaccinated. all in all, the entire population in India could be vaccinated by October 2021. It could be, it's sounding a little late, but nonetheless, this is the steps that the government has taken to do it at the earliest, because remember, we're a massive population. We're not UK, United States don't have that kind of population that India has. You're the second largest population in the world, and it's going to be a Herculean task, and that's what the government is addressing, no doubt. And they're doing a fine job so far, at least instilling confidence in us time and again. Now, going over to political heat that's going on in West Bengal between Mamata Banerjee and Amit Shah. Now, right after Amit Shah carried out a massive rally at West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee's home turf, today, Mamata Banerjee's close aide, Prashant Kishore, who is a political strategist for Mamata Banerjee and the TMC, he's come out to challenge and dare the BJP, saying if the BJP gets 2 digits in West Bengal polls, he'll resign or quit from Twitter. He's a massive Twitterati. He's quite an ardent social media user. And this man, and remember, Prashant Kishore is no regular man, no regular official. He has been part of political strategies and poll campaigns across, including for Narendra Modi in 2014 and in 2016. We know the kind of victory that Narendra Modi has, be it in Gujarat and pan-India as a Prime Minister. He's had a sweeping victory. Here, Prashant Kishore has been integral in those poll campaigns. He's also been integral in Jagan Mohan Reddy's poll campaign as well, Captain Amrinder Singh's poll campaign as well, and respectively they've all won, except for one loss that he had, which is he was a strategist for Congress in UP, but we know what happened in UP. Congress barely was reduced to 7. But nonetheless, he's got a great track record. So for him to say that I challenge the BJP, they won't even get two digits in the assembly polls is quite a heavy statement, and the BJP must take it seriously. But nonetheless, BJP's Kailash Vijayvargiya, who's handling West Bengal, or he's responsible for the West Bengal polls and the campaigning for the BJP, he said, well, then we're sure you're going to be proven wrong. Then we'll have one less pollster in the country. So this is the back and forth backlash that's going on. Kolkata there, Mamata Banerjee came out. She held a press conference just a little while ago, hitting out massively at Amit Shah, saying that he's just come out on the campaign trail and spewed lies, a garbage of lies that he's thrown out there for the people, and most of the concocted stories that he's given out, she's of course rebutted each of his point, many of the points that she picked up, and she said that Amit Shah has been lying. That's going to be a long list if I read it out to you, but the point here is that it's it's quite a heavy battle in West Bengal, with Mamata Banerjee not taking anything coming out by the BJP and Amit Shah laying down. She's quite hard with her attack on the BJP, and even BJP is no different. Amit Shah has said very categorically in his poll campaign in West Bengal, saying Mamata will be reduced to nothing. She will be eventually left alone, and all the TMC leaders will defect. And this comes in the wake of many of the defections that have already happened. TMC leaders have already moved, jumped boats. 10 MLAs of the TMC have moved to the BJP. They've joined the BJP. So BJP this time is going to come down heavy for the Mamata Banerjee government. But will it be powerful enough to overthrow Mamata government is, of course, the big question. Now, in the midst of this very interesting development today, the BJP MP Soumitra Khan's estranged wife, now they're still together but not divorced, estranged wife Sujata has joined the TMC and extends support to Mamata Banerjee, saying that BJP does not treat its own people right, they don't honor its leaders, and therefore she wants to extend support to Mamata Banerjee. And right after this, the BJP MP Soumitra Khan has threatened to divorce his wife because she joined the BJP. So that's, I beg your pardon, she joined the TMC. So that's an interesting development there. But nonetheless, Sujata, his wife, says that she is going to be part of the TMC, and she also spoke with the media saying that she now lauds Mamata's efforts and whatnot. Now, quickly cutting across to Tamil Nadu, Rajnikant, he and his party and the launch of his party has been such a contentious topic forever. And now finally his team has said that they are going to be launching his political party on either of these days. That is 14th, 17th or 21st of January. One of these days they're going to be picking. Now 14th is auspicious because it's Makara Sankranti. 17th is auspicious because it's AIADMK founder MGR's birthday. And 21st is possibly the last day that they could do it, because post that is going to be very difficult, because then the poll code might just come into effect, and of course it will also affect the Thalaiva's strategy to chalk out his entire campaign strategy there. So sources say that finally a decision on which date he's going to pick among these 3 dates will be made on the 31st of December. So it's interesting to see how Thalaiva Rajnikant there really builds up this momentum before actually announcing his party launch, just like he does in his films. That much drama, that much effect. Finally, let's hope it's actually launched, because just a few months away that we're looking at the assembly polls, and he plans to contest all seats. How is he going to do that? Well, let's see what kind of Rajni magic he has, what he has on screen. Will he translate that to the poll ground? That remains to be seen. Right now, he's shooting for his movie Anate in Hyderabad. He's going to come back to Chennai, and then all this process will begin. In the meanwhile, Kamal Haasan, who's also another superstar who's fighting polls this time in Tamil Nadu, M&M chief, he has said that any alliance or any detail about an alliance, whether he wants to have it with Rajnikant or with any other party for that matter, he's going to give any details on that only after January. Also, he hit out at all those critics who call Kamal Haasan's party a B team. He was quite angry, saying that don't belittle us. We are as strong as any other party, and we're going to fight hard. We will give the ruling parties and those fighting the other political parties a run for their money. Now, a quick note on Rajnikant here as we speak of him. Rajnikant today has received summons from the committee which is probing into the Tuticorin police firing incident which killed 13 innocent people who were protesting against the Tuticorin copper plant there, run by Vedanta Group, for polluting. In fact, the copper plant was polluting the vicinity there. It was quite a pathetic situation as per those villagers who were living around the area, those people living in that district, and they were protesting relentlessly. The police eventually, protest turned violent. Police eventually fired at those protesters. 13 people died, and after that, Rajnikant went to the spot and took a stock of the situation, spoke to those protesters and whatnot, and then he made a very public statement, a heavy statement, saying that anti-social elements infiltrated into that protest, and that led to the police firing. In fact, that pushed the police to fire at that point of time. So this statement has not gone down too well with many, because they blame the police or the government of that day of siding with the Vedanta Group and siding with that particular corporate and not shutting it down despite relentless protests. And of course, reducing the entire protest to just an effect of infiltrators and those who've come in from outside, antisocial elements who've pushed for these protesters to turn violent. There was some sort of confusion based on Rajnikant's statement, and now the probe committee is probing into this case, and they've summoned Rajnikant for the statement that he's made. They've said, either give proof to what you said. Do you know of any antisocial elements who came in and infiltrated into the protest? If you know of it, then we want to know too, so give us that kind of proof. If not, then what next? It could be possible that Rajnikant could be asked to tender an apology as well for making that statement in full public glare before the media. Now, this interestingly comes right at a time. And in fact, Rajnikant was summoned earlier as well. He was summoned by retired Judge Aruna Jagdisan. This time around, last time when he was summoned, he asked for exemption. He was asked to appear in person. He asked for exemption, saying that if I come there, then there's going to be a huge crowd. The people who are going to gather around me, so I'm not going to come there in person. I would rather give a written submission. So this then the matter was delayed, and now again he's been summoned for on the 19th of January, and this time around there's no exemption. Retired Judge Aruna Jagdisan says he must attend in person. Like I said, very interesting, because January 19th is when he's been summoned, and just around that time, like I mentioned, 14th, 17th and 21st are the dates that Rajni's party picked to launch his party. It's just around that time where he's going to make a political foray, and now the summons has been issued to him. So it's very interesting to see politically how this plays out. Now, the actor is right now added that he would start protest. At that point in time, Rajnikant sort of said that if everyone starts protesting about everything, that the state is going to turn into a graveyard. This also had upsetted a lot of people back then, which is why a probe was initiated. Now, a quick word on the Tamil Nadu politics, now that I'm on it. There seems to be some weird play that's happening between the AIADMK and the BJP. Remember, Amit Shah very recently was in Tamil Nadu, and the BJP and AIADMK publicly announced that they're going to fight the 2021 assembly polls in Tamil Nadu together. The AIADMK said that they're going to be in alliance with the BJP and fight these polls. Now, after that said, today it seems like there was one after the other attack coming in from the BJP Vice President Annamalai. He's now a new entry into the BJP, quite a fiery speaker, and he took to the stage attacking AIADMK on various counts. He said, first of all, AIADMK has promised to all the rice ration card holders that they're going to be given 2,500 rupees as a gift for Pongal. So Annamalai hits out at the ruling government, saying that at first the government swindles money from the people and then they give it back to their people itself as gift. So he hit out at the government, and then eventually also one after the other attacks on O Pannirselvam, saying that he fell in front of Jayalalitha's car. We don't want those kind of netas. We want him ousted, or he should be out. Then he hit out at another leader of the AIADMK. So this has been like one backlash after the other, and even the AIADMK eventually came down to make a statement saying ideology is more important than alliance. So giving out a lot of feelers that AIADMK and BJP may not be together, may not go into polls together, fighting it together. But critiques, on the other hand, political strategists and analysts say that this could also be a strategy of the BJP and the AIADMK to make it look like they're not together, but post polls may just come into an alliance. So there's a lot of strategy that goes behind. Eventually, it's all about gaining the public trust and the sentiment to get your votes. So really, what's the true story? We are not too sure, but we do know for a fact that AIADMK did receive a lot of flack from their voters and the people of Tamil Nadu for joining hands with the BJP. BJP is struggling to make inroads into Tamil Nadu. They managed to do so bit by bit, but is this another strategy for them to actually make it look like this is fighting separately? That also remains to be seen. Now, also the fact is AIADMK is also facing a lot of anti-incumbency. So you just don't know what exactly the strategy here is. But it's weird that once they announced that they are allies just a few weeks ago, and now they're fighting each other again. So let me quickly go over to Karnataka. A quick word on Siddaramaiah. He lost his Chamundeshwari assembly seat in 2018, and it was quite an embarrassment for him because he was the chief minister of Karnataka and he lost his own constituency at that point in time. And today he's come out blaming his own party leaders, blaming the Congress itself, saying that he lost his Chamundeshwari seat because of the Congress leaders. Now, many Congress leaders were approached. India Today spoke to DK Shivkumar as well as to what really happened. Why is Siddaramaiah saying this? He says, well, he's just upset that after all that work, he still wasn't able to win his seat, but there's nothing much to it. BJP, of course, very quickly picked up with the fact that Congress has been infighting for the longest time. And it is a fact that in Karnataka, there are two factions within the Congress, and that is the DK Shivkumar camp and the Siddaramaiah camp. So it could be possible that within their own, they fought enough for Siddaramaiah to lose his Chamundeshwari seat. It was almost like a challenge at one point in time. I still remember when I was covering it myself in Karnataka, that there were a lot of infighting between the Congress itself, and there was a lot of talk that Siddaramaiah will not be allowed to win his own assembly constituency, and who did that we still don't know, but the point is he lost it. It could be anti-incumbency. It maybe would have been a natural progression as well. So this is what happened in Karnataka. HD Kumaraswamy, JDS Supremo, there was a lot of talk about whether JDS is going to join hands with the BJP. Are they going to support them? But now JDS Supremo HD Kumaraswamy has said that they are not going to join hands with the BJP, and those who are calling the BJP's B team should be ashamed, because if at all they wanted to join hands with the BJP, they would have done it long ago and would have been in power today in Karnataka as well. But so far, there's nothing of that sort. They're not going to be joining hands with the BJP, and if anything, they will only be supporting the BJP on issues, only based on issues. If anything that comes up, they will support the BJP, but otherwise there's no alliance as such whatsoever. Now remember, Karnataka is also going into Gram Panchayat elections, so all this talk coming in, heating up that stage as well. So a quick word on the ongoing farmers stir. Remember, this is the 26th day that the farmers are protesting. Today was a 24-hour hunger strike that they are observing. Currently, they're observing a 24-hour hunger strike, and it's really heartening to see, because it's biting cold. It's one of the worst winters for a long time. In fact, the national capital in Delhi, the temperatures have dipped to 3.9 degrees Celsius early this morning, or early Sunday morning, and one can only imagine it's dead cold outside, but yet farmers continue their agitation relentlessly. In fact, they've started blood donation camps. They're writing letters to the government in blood. Those farmers who are donating their blood, they're using that blood to write letters to the government. That's the kind of sentiment that they're really oozing there. They also observe Kisan Divas tomorrow, where they're also standing in solidarity with the farmers at large. So it's a massive protest that still continues, but yet the government doesn't seem like they want to budge. When we say budge, the government is ready for amends, but they're not willing to quash the laws. The farmers are also not willing to budge from their spot. They say that they want the laws to be fully quashed, and they're not willing for any amends proposed by the government. A lot of the talks, at least 5 rounds of talks from October that have been carried on till now, have all failed because the farmers believe that the government really has nothing new to offer them. They say that any corporate involvement in the agricultural sector, and that's it, they're finished. They're fearing that, and they say that they're not willing for any of that. No corporate involvement should be there in the farming sector, and they must roll back the laws completely. So Home Minister Amit Shah has assured time and again, he says that in fact today or tomorrow there'll be another round of talk with the farmers and the agricultural minister. Hopefully that goes forward. Now remember, 40 unions have been given a letter by the agriculture ministry and invited them for talks. Maybe a date and time should be fixed later today or early tomorrow. We're hoping for another round of talks, but the farmers seated put, not moving. They're still agitating. Now remember, a lot of the allegation that's come in about farmers being motivated by Khalistani extremists, about that fact that they could be funded by outsiders, they could be getting international funding and whatnot. Now today there was news that there's one particular NGO which is a part of this farmers agitation that is being funded or that is receiving funds from international sources. So far they've got about, this NGO has got about 8 lakhs from abroad. Now who is this international source, and what source is this money coming from? Is it coming from legit channels? Where is this money from? International sources? There are a lot of people who are apparently funding these protests, and where is that money really coming from? Through what channels? Now we understand that sources in the BKU faction has claimed that a bank official had informed the General Secretary Sukhdev Singh that he had received an email from the Forex department. The email sought for registration details in regards to donations being received from abroad by farmers' outfits. Now basically this is just the government keeping under scanner those outfits or those people, individuals, outfits, associations, whatever it is, who are giving money to the farmers through banking channels. Who are these people who's giving the money and funding the farmers' protests is basically what the government is keen on observing, and that's what's under scanner currently. Now a quick word on Kerala. Now Kerala is supporting the farmers and against the farm laws. The Kerala government has decided to pass a resolution in the parliament, and they've asked, or in the assembly there, and they've asked the governor of Kerala to agree to hold a special assembly session to pass a resolution against the 3 farm laws. And the government in Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, says the government and the opposition are unanimously decided, and they've agreed upon passing a resolution against these farm laws in support of the agitating farmers. Now a quick word finally, as we come to an end here, on Bollywood actor Arjun Rampal, who is currently under scanner by the NCB for illegal substances. In fact, Arjun Rampal has been summoned by the NCB for the 2nd time, and he's currently he's been interrogated. Even as we speak right now, he's being interrogated. In fact, it's been close to about 4 hours that Arjun Rampal is at the NCB office. Remember, this is the 2nd time. On the first time, he was grilled for 7 hours on the 13th of November. This is the 2nd time. And the reason to that is that when the NCB raided Arjun Rampal's house, they found tramadol tablets in his house. And this is a restricted drug. You need a prescription for it. Arjun Rampal at that point in time, when they found that, gave a prescription to the NCB saying this is a prescription and this is a doctor's prescribed drug. Now, somehow the NCB feels that this prescription is fake because there was a doctor's reaction that came out about this prescription not being given by him and whatnot. There was some speculation about that, and the NCB is now probing into whether this prescription is genuine. If this prescription is not genuine, it's imminent that Arjun Rampal might face arrest. Now, this is part of the ongoing Bollywood drugs mafia, the nexus that the NCB is interrogating and investigating, that took off after Sushant Singh Rajput's death. And that's it for now. Most of the news that's covered for today. Thank you for watching. I'm going to come back tomorrow with more news and updates, a roundup of the day.